Hello, hello. Welcome to the first ever Pixelcast Game Club episode. I'm your host for the first game we are playing, Ian Dominguez. I am here with you in post, though. This is post edit Ian Dominguez. Just to go over a few things before we jump into the episode. First things first, thank you for being here, taking a chance on listening to some nobodies that have no prior affiliation to anything talk about an old ass game. You are the true MVPs. Even for the most popular podcasts out there, it's you, the listeners, that are the true MVPs out there. So thank you for that. Secondly, I just have some caveats to inform you about the upcoming episodes. Firstly, we're very new to this, and the audio in some sections definitely won't sound as good as they should because, like I said, we are new to this. And I didn't have any prior knowledge about how to make your audio sound very good. So I sound fine right now because now I have knowledge to do those things. But specifically in the first two episodes, I did the best I could to make the sound bearable to listen to. But I promise as the episodes progress, the sound quality does get better and better. So thank you for sticking through with that if you do. Secondly, we did record these episodes some time ago. Right now, these episodes are about to go live on YouTube sometime in August of 2021, but we recorded these episodes sometime in January of February of the same year, 2021. So it's been a few months. I've been working on the episodes for quite some time whenever I have time between jobs and, just normal life stuff. So there might be some things mentioned in the episode that might not make sense because time has already passed by it. I think one of my friends mentions being excited to try Resident Evil Village because at that time it wasn't out yet. So just wanted to let you know about that. And also, we started recording these episodes. I didn't have a definitive name for the podcast yet. So in the actual intros of the episodes, I do refer to the podcast as the Video Game Book Club podcast. But that was more of like a working title until I found something more definitive in which is now the Pixelcast Game Club. So I just wanted to let you know about that. But yeah, that's about it. I won't take up any much of your time that you have so graciously given to us and allow you to listen to our first ever podcast episode about us playing through Resident Evil 4. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy.
Hey, everybody. This is the Video Game Book Club podcast where we, a group of friends and a group of good old pals, get together and play through a game simultaneously. I am your host, Ian, and I am joined today with my good friend, Matt.
Hello.
Brian.
Hello.
And lastly, we have Ryan.
How's it going?
How you doing today, guys?
Good.
Doing
good.
okay. I'm ready to send myself back to the land of console shooters and do tank controls in a horror survival game. I'm ready.
Don't get too ahead of yourself. I haven't said anything yet.
Send me in, Sarge. I'm ready to go back into the trenches.
Well, that's what we do here. We play through a game
excited.
simultaneously, and when we decide what moment in the time in the game that we would like to play, and then every week we come back and discuss that certain segment that we have played. Basically just like a good old-fashioned book club, but with video games. But with not particularly with this episode, because this is episode 0, where I'm going to go through some short information and facts about the game that we're about to play, and I feel, things I should feel that the group should know before embarking on this wonderful journey. And the game that is going to start off this entire podcast, and I am super excited about, is Resident Evil 4, baby. So before we get into a short info dump, I just want to lay it onto you guys. I would like everyone here to say what their experience with Resident Evil 4 is. Have you played it before? What do you know about it? And also, what's moreover your top level general experience and knowledge of the Resident Evil franchise in general?
I haven't touched a single Resident Evil game.
I played.
So there you go.
I played a little bit of the Resident Evil 2 remake. Let's
Amazing.
say 2019. Got to Ada's part. Was like, fuck this. I'm done.
Oh no! What happened?
I I just hated that part. I was like, I don't
It's
like
kind
this
of
anymore.
a weird pacing thing because like you get all decked out as Leon, you're like, let's fucking kick some ass, and then he just gets shot in a cutscene. You play as Ada and lose access to all of that shit. It's a real balloon burster. So I understand wanting to quit at that moment.
And then after that, I played through all of the Resident Evil 3 remake, so I have
Oh, nice.
some grasp of the series.
Oh, you know what? I dabbled I dipped my toes a little bit into Resident Evil 5. Actually, now that I
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna say because you played Mercenaries with us every once in a while. Like
yeah,
back when
yeah, I
you and your
remember.
brother and I used to play a lot.
Every now
Tank
and then I'll
controls in the
reference
game.
Chris Redfield punching a boulder, and y'all
Oh,
seem to
dude,
know what to talk about.
It's
So
amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played through 5 with Jordan. I think in a single night. We just
Oh,
did
woo!
we just did the whole fucking thing. And it was entertaining. I remember it kind of like a fever dream. I remember shooting an RPG that Wesker catches in his hands. Like I remember a lot of really dumb moments, but I think for me there's like 1, 2, 3. 4 is a little bit of a bridge to the gap of 5 and 6, and then they've returned to form in 7, and we're not even gonna touch on Big Vampire Lady in 8, because this is about 4. But
Why not, dude?
I think we're not there
not
yet.
yet.
Not yet. Because I think Resident Evil is kind of a long-standing franchise. The original games and now the remakes of those games, it's got a lot of history behind it, so there's a lot of places to read in. There's a lot of context to gather, but I don't have a whole lot of on-hand experience. I guess I have a little bit of understanding of that kind of scope of the series, how influential it's been, how many people have been influenced by it, but I don't have a whole lot of hands-on experience, especially with 4, except that I know it's tank controls and Leon, and there's a weird, wrinkly Akira old man baby in it at some point, and Egg.
Is it still tank controls in 4?
I think it's tank control. It's isn't it tank controls, or do I have a misunderstanding of what tank
really.
controls are?
I'll consult the
angle
Elder
or-
Gods, Ian.
Yes. He
It's
who
not-
sleeps
well,
between the
it's not
stars, Ian.
it's not like the originals 1, 2, and 3, or like
Okay.
Code Veronica Resident Evil games where it's fixed camera angles, that kind of tank controls. But it is you're running and you kind of run forward, but you can steer left and right. But like a lot of people call it tank controls because you can't move and shoot at the same time.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
I get you.
Okay,
But
but
so no
but
one
I'm
played
still
Resident
looking
Evil 4
for
here.
no.
No.
Oh man, I'm so excited.
Do we need to use the chainsaw controller for the GameCube?
I
Do you
wish.
have a
That'd be
GameCube?
fucking
I do not.
amazing.
Do I need to get one and the chainsaw controller? I bet they're expensive. I bet that whole setup is expensive. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna see how expensive it would be.
You do that. Me personally, Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time.
It would be about $200.
Goddamn boy.
$200, holy shit!
It's also for Resident Evil 5 and not 4.
what?
Oh.
I remember there being, or maybe it's just not for sale.
I
Wait.
think that's false.
Wait,
Resident Evil 5 was on the GameCube? That makes
No.
sense.
no,
it wasn't.
it had a chainsaw controller.
I don't think so, man.
I think that's a.
I don't know. You're the one
typo.
looking at it right now.
Yeah.
But like I said, Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I believe it to be just outright objectively one of the best games of all time. And I've played this game more times than I can count because I first got it back on the PlayStation 2 when I was, I don't know, I think I might have been maybe in 5th grade. I got it a couple years after the game released, I believe. I believe I got this game on, I believe on Christmas, I believe. Maybe, actually, it might have not have been a couple years after the game came out. Because if I got it in like 5th or 6th grade, it might have been like only a year. But I got it for Christmas one year, and I remember a funny story where I was playing the game, and I was in one of the beginning areas. And I've played the game before, not the whole thing, because I played it at a friend's house of mine. And I was playing, shooting some zombies, and my dad was watching the background, and I shot a zombie's head, and it exploded. and I was like worried that my dad was gonna go like, what the hell is this game? What did we buy you?" kind of thing. And I remember when this head exploded, I was like, I didn't know you could do that.
Classic.
So trying to like mitigate the damage.
How did he react? Was he
Trying to save it.
upset?
No, he wasn't upset. I was just worried that he would have thought about that whenever I was playing it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a funny story.
No, that's a valid concern. I had a friend that I was trying to rope into World of Warcraft back in middle school, and he would not be able to play it because his parents saw that there were undead characters because you got the Forsaken, and they were like, "Oh, this game's Satanist. This game's for Satan." So there are parents out there that are legitimately like afraid of the quote unquote values in video games.
Yeah. Yeah, I always tried to like kind of like sneak games I shouldn't have been playing at a young age, like, because my parents didn't really know much about the ESRB rating stuff. They just knew rated M was like a bit more of a mature game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you would always come up with those excuses to say,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, it's not that great." I remember, Matt, you telling me about like you got your parents to buy you Halo because you're shooting aliens, not humans.
Yeah,
Is that real?
I was
Yeah.
I was a 6-year-old and I went to a friend's house to play Halo for the first time and I was just like, "Oh my god, I have to have this." And so my brother and I asked for an Xbox for Christmas.
That's
And
so beautiful.
I was 5 and he was 5 and I was 6. And I was just like, "It's okay because you're not killing people, you're killing aliens and the blood's not red."
I love it. I love
And
it. It's-
then
it's
I
so
just went
beautiful.
around headshotting Marines in the face.
I
So
I remember my very first rated M game. I got
Monster
my parents to buy
Frisbee.
me. The very first rated M game I got my parents to buy me was SOCOM 2, U.S. Navy SEALs, I think.
oh my
And
god.
the
Talk
way
about
I was
classic.
able to convince my mom to buy it for me, it was like, "You're killing terrorists. Isn't that a good thing?"
Yeah, totally.
I'm doing the world a favor, okay?
Yeah.
Damn.
All right, well, moving on some now we'll get into like a little short info dump. I just wanted to dump onto you guys, getting into let you guys know about the game a bit before jumping in. So Resident Evil 4 was released on January 11th, 2005, exclusively for the GameCube, actually. But
Weird.
but it was
Huh.
later ported to the PlayStation 2 that same year in October. And
Huh.
subsequent other ports came out thereafter in the coming years to PC and the Wii. And there's even like a kind of like a dumbed down mobile port that came out in 2008. I actually remember that. That kind of like sparked the memory in my head when I was reading about this. And then pretty much literally every console after that has gotten a port ever since. The original GameCube version has a 96 on Metacritic.
Ooh. It's really good.
Big
and
number.
Yeah.
was developed in-house
Number
at
big.
Capcom and published by Capcom. And it was developed by Capcom's Production Studio 4, actually. It was directed by Shinji Mikami. Shinji Mikami's known for all the Resident Evil games really beforehand and before this. He moved on to have parts in God Hand and Vanquish, actually, after
Did
this
he
project.
do any of the Devil May Cry stuff? I feel like I might be mixing him up
Kind of
with
has a
someone else.
tie to that. I'll actually get to that soon.
Right.
Currently, Shinji Mikami is the current founder and CEO at Tango Gameworks, who is the new development studio that made the Evil Within games.
Right.
Yeah. And then this is some cool little facts, like because I was young when all of us were young when this game came out, and so there's like a lot of like facts and stuff about this game that were coming out and news stories when we didn't really follow these kind of news stories when we were kids.
Mhm.
So when Resident Evil 4 was announced, it was announced as part of the Capcom 5. The Capcom 5 were 5 games announced in 2002 that were to be GameCube exclusives to help bolster the less than stellar sales numbers of the GameCube at the time. Because apparently the GameCube didn't really sell that well. I didn't really know that.
Huh, could have fooled me.
The 5 games were PN, which stands for product numbers, PN3. I've never heard of that game ever.
I have seen this game at a friend's house before. I really like the look of the lady protagonist in that game. I have never seen it played. I think it looks, let's call it sweet, rad,
So
very 90s.
So the
Yeah.
Capcom 4.
Capcom 5.
I was making a joke about how no one ever is the first one.
Oh,
Oh,
So you just call it fucking,
whoosh.
I know.
didn't land.
And other games included Beautiful Joe,
Hell yeah.
Dead Phoenix, Killer 7, and then of course Resident Evil 4. Dead Phoenix was actually
So the
canceled,
Capcom
never
2.
came out. I know. Dead Phoenix was canceled. It never came out. So yes, basically Capcom 4. PN3 sold terribly and it wasn't received very well also. So it basically just stayed a GameCube exclusive. While Beautiful Joe and Killer 7 ended up selling pretty modestly. Then of course there's Resident Evil 4. So Resident Evil 4 at the time was basically started work around like 1999 actually, and the game came out in 2005. So it went through a lot of different iterations, and actually like 4 different iterations to be exact.
Damn.
And at first like it was supposed to be marketed as a game for the PS2 back when it was like announced or talked about in some sort of article back in 99. I actually have a quote here. I think I just took this quote straight from Wikipedia, but I cross-checked everything, make sure everything was like correct, but I'll just read this out. So in 99, producer Shinji Mikami said a Resident Evil sequel was in development for PlayStation 2. Resident Evil 4 underwent a lengthy development during which at least 4 versions of the game were discarded. The first version was directed by Hideki Kamiya around the turn of the millennium. And this is where Resident Evil 2 writer was writing the story for this. But they wanted to create a scenario for the game based on like the director's vision of it being kind of like a cool and stylish action game, and not so much rooted in its like horror roots anymore. The story was based on unraveling a mystery surrounded by a body of protagonist Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isn't
I
it-
see where this is tying
Okay.
in here.
I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
some I've
Tony.
heard some iteration of this.
Is his last
So-
name Redgrave by chance?
Yeah, exactly. That's
So
the
Tony
link
was
here.
supposed to be an invincible man with skills and intellect exceeding that of normal people, with his superhuman abilities explained with biotechnology. This is literally taken straight from Wikipedia, so
Okay.
disregard any grammar that's like. But so though developers tried to make the coolness theme fit into the world of Resident Evil, Mikami felt it strayed too far from the series' survival horror roots, and gradually convinced the staff to make it an independent game. This game then became Capcom's new franchise, Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
I see.
I was about
Yeah,
to say I
Devil May Cry
can
was
I can
an old
imagine
iteration of Resident Evil.
I can imagine the clashes that happened between Shinji Mikami and the Devil May Cry guy. I can imagine them just fighting.
Yeah, exactly. So
The
Well,
Devil
hey,
May Cry
maybe-
guy is Hideki Kamiya.
Thank
who
you.
I was mixing him up with Shinji Mikami.
yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I think I remember hearing about this a long time ago, but I just completely forgot. So when I was doing research about this, I was like, oh fuck, like this is so sick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Well,
That's
it
rad.
turned into its own separate,
Yeah,
successful
fucking-
franchise.
Fucking Kiryu. That's rad. But
And,
yeah, and then it's
Then there are other iterations that came. Other iterations that came to be. One of them was known as the Fog version. Another was known as the Hookman version. Another was known as the hallucination version. You can actually find footage of all of these versions on YouTube, which is actually pretty cool. You can see like where it like began and started. It actually started out as like an original type of Resident Evil game where it had fixed camera angles and all that stuff. But after all these versions, then Shinji Mikami came in and took over basically and just scrapped all of them and just reinvented it from the ground up. Maybe not so much from the ground up, but definitely took like some assets, but just basically completely reinvented it into what Resident Evil 4 is now, basically.
All right.
Very
So
nice.
that's it went through, and it's kind of cool because most of the time when you hear about a game that's gone through so much, like I guess the word tossed around is development hell. Usually it doesn't really work out that much, but obviously in the case of this game, it turned out very good.
Yeah, they actually landed they nailed the landing, as they say.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
pretty rare.
Because I guess if we want to contemporary examples of games that have been developed for a really really long time and then land with kind of scattered golf clap to mixed reviews is usually like what CD Projekt Red
Cyberpunk.
with Cyberpunk and Anthem games that are developed for a super super long time go through a lot of like rehashing and do we want to keep that feature or this feature and all that stuff like the
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mass Effect Andromeda, rip. But it's a lot of times studios will hedge their bets and cancel a game that's having trouble getting off the ground or going through a bunch of redesigns rather than pony up the money to finish it out if it's not a guarantee. And Capcom has a rocky, not a rocky history, but their games aren't always this like whiz bang Call of Duty Cold War selling millions and millions of fucking copies.
Yeah. I found an article from Game Informer back in 2019, and this was back when Resident Evil 4 had been out for 14 years. So the title of it is 14 years later, Resident Evil 4 remains the most important third-person shooter ever. And I'd just like to take a quote basically from it is, Resident Evil 4 changed things for video games. There aren't many games I say that about with a straight face. Super Mario Brothers, Doom, Half-Life, The Legend of Zelda, Grand Theft Auto, and then there's Resident Evil 4. And so I think it was just kind of a cool quote just to pull from, because you hear all that, those games. You hear Super Mario Brothers, you think iconic. You Doom, iconic. Half-Life, iconic. Stuff like that. And then I never really thought about kind of like, I guess, putting Resident Evil 4 kind of in that same bracket of just like importance in video games. And when you think about, when I think about Resident Evil 4, I think about influence and just how it influenced, just third-person shooters ever since after that. And I remember playing Dead Space for the first time and going like, damn, this game would
took
not
the words right out of my mouth.
Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about how this has a tremendous amount of Resident Evil influence.
Yeah, and it was also funny because you're also playing You've been playing Dead Space briefly for the past like couple of weeks right now, huh?
Briefly is putting it mildly, but yes. I've been mainlining that shit.
And also, there's a thing about this game. There are so many animations in this game that are just like so good. Like it's one of those. I remember a while ago. This was actually before the new God of War came out in 2018. And I was thinking like, oh, I want to play like the first God of War, and I played it on fucking like PlayStation Now and streamed it, and it was awful. But just playing the actual like, but playing not the game itself. PlayStation Now was awful, but playing fucking God of War and just seeing these animations to this game that's so like, I mean, it's not like extremely old, but it's definitely like older from like
it's
the
definitely on the
PlayStation 2
PS2
generation. And for me, it was the animations. I'm like, dude, this game was like, I feel like was like almost ahead of its time, but of course it still fucking just works for even how old the game is. And I feel like Resident Evil 4 is kind of like in that bracket as well. Like some of the animations like in this game are actually like, I mean, regardless of what you want to say about like not being able to move and shoot, but there's like some cutscenes and stuff. Like there's a particular fight scene near like kind of near the endish of the game, a little more over halfway, I would actually say. And the animations are like amazing, and it's just like, and I replayed this game last year actually, and after not playing it for a long time, and I was like, damn, like this is when like I feel like animations to video gaming with like God of War and Resident Evil just really started to fucking take off. Caveats though about going into the game that I would like you guys to, that you guys should know, I feel like, is obviously this game is from 2005, so it shows its age in ways, obviously, whether it's like, not being able to move and shoot. So, I mean, I feel like it works with the game though, because if you could move and shoot in this game, it would change the whole dynamic of it, and it would change like so many other things about it. But having to stop and turn around and shoot at things chasing you, it adds a layer of tension to the gameplay that I think is actually really important to it. Again, dialogue is pretty cheesy, and all I do is just ask you guys to embrace it because it's funny as hell, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fondue. It's supposed to enhance. It's supposed to enhance the experience.
Yes. Like Leon says the cheesiest fucking shit.
Yeah,
It's back
it's like a
one-liners.
1-inch layer of over the whole game, and it's like it just learn to be okay with it because it's not changing.
it's so funny.
Yeah,
So,
At least his hair is nice.
It's pretty.
it adds so much charm to the game. And also, this was back when
His hair is
when
immaculate.
the game was coming out. This was back when the gaming industry and a lot of games back then were putting in a lot of quick time events. So there's a decent amount of quick time events in this game, but to me, I still think kind of like, I don't know. Me personally, I don't think quick time events are so much of a detriment to gameplay as a lot of people like argue it is. I think it's. I would understand when it's fucking God of War and you have to mash fucking square every time you want to open a goddamn chest. It's not that bad, but there are a good decent amount of quick time events, but I think they're implemented very well, and so but you guys can be the judge of that, and we'll talk about it whenever we get to it. So basically, quick recap of important lore of Resident Evil franchise and basically who Leon is. Obviously, Leon, for people who don't know, Leon was in Resident Evil 2. You played as a rookie cop, basically, like on basically your first day on the squad. And Raccoon City is being overrun by zombies and all that. So that's where Leon is from, and now he returned in Resident Evil 4, but it's years and years into the future, and he's a lot more, not that rookie cop anymore, and he's actually a special agent for the US government now. So he's a lot more battle-hardened, I guess you could say. I actually have the Resident Evil 4 box right here in front of me.
Nice.
Let's see. On the back, it says U.S. Agent Leon S. Kennedy must investigate the kidnapping of the president's daughter. His search brings him to a rural village where he encounters hordes of unimaginable horrors and must fight to uncover who or what is behind it all. That's what it's on the back of the box.
I appreciate the voice you use for that.
The word horrors is doing a lot of work in that sentence. There's no way to put what happens in Resident Evil 4 in a 50-word blurb.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually I wanted to like have like a whole like setup previously with this recording where we could like be in a Discord call like we are right now, but I could screen share and we could like I could like show you pictures and stuff like that. But I think I'll work on that for like the actual like first episode of the series. And I was thinking about, we could like watch some like old trailers from like 2005 or 2004 and shit. Like, but I was looking at these trailers and I was like, this gives away too much. I don't want to fucking show you guys this. You should just play it. So
I've always been one to go into an experience as blind as possible.
Yeah. All right. So basically for rules, basically for playing the game together, guys. Every week we'll talk about the game up to a certain point and discuss it. I'll let you guys know what point you will be playing up to. If you guys want to keep playing past that point, go ahead. If you guys like actually end up like really enjoying the game and want to keep playing, like go ahead. It's just that whenever we get to the certain point in the episode, we'll only be talking up to one point. But I'm not gonna like gatekeep you guys from not playing the game any further. If you guys want to keep playing, go ahead. Also, I think if you guys are whatever you guys are playing on, I think it'd be fun. We could have like a little segment at the end of each episode as well. Record anything that you find significant or funny while you guys are playing. So if something fucking hilarious happens while you play, you can have if you're playing like on PS4 or something, just like record a clip, do the thing where you can record the last 30 seconds. And then like at the end of each episode, we could have a segment where we watch our like clips, whether they be hilarious or stuff like that. I thought it'd be a kind of cool little thing to do if you guys would like to do that.
Sure.
That sounds entertaining, yeah.
Do we know what platforms that we can get this on?
Anything.
A lot. There's a lot.
Right.
Dude, it's been ported to
putting
fucking
up Steam right now.
everything. You can get on the Switch if you want.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. I think it's on the Switch.
Do you have a
But,
Zebo? There's the
what-
thing called a Zebo that you can buy Resident Evil 4 for.
What the hell is a Zebo?
What
Hey,
about my
remember I said
Motorola
Zebo is a
Razr?
3G enabled entertainment and education system from Zebo Incorporated.
Oh, so it's like a learning tablet.
It's basically in Brazil and Mexico.
Huh. And it
Oh,
runs
man.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, yeah. I bet it runs
Hell
Rayman
yeah.
2 as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
Resident
So
Evil
I was
4
going
is
to
on
talk to you guys about
Steam.
that. What's up?
Resident Evil 4 is on Steam.
Yes.
For $20. I saw a G2A advertisement for under $10. I am going to investigate that link. Or if you have no money, like me, there's always the Yoho.
Ah, yes, the carnival. I know exactly what
yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about.
The carnival with the pirate ride with the hats and the swords.
And the carousel. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You can ask them to get you a copy, and there are ways to get copies.
Yeah.
You have to throw the horseshoe on top of the the pile, and that's the grand prize.
Yeah, you have to throw the horseshoe into the basketball basket.
So I don't know. I'm still deciding what exactly platform I'll play it on. I replayed it on my Xbox One last year, because I found a used copy of it at GameStop one time, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll buy it. And
Wait, it's on the Xbone too?
Yeah, and
Nice.
so I have that's the box I was holding. It was the fucking Xbox One copy.
Ah, okay.
I just got it on.
I have a
just bought it on
PlayStation
Steam.
2 copy somewhere in a storage like cabinet at my parents' house in a box of old video games. I need to go grab that. But you guys can choose wherever you would like to play, obviously. Another caveat for the game is if you play with a controller, with the game being older, the aiming is a bit kind of like jerky, I guess. It's kind of like the aiming's not like the best and perfect way of aiming with a joystick. So if you want to play on PC, I'm assuming mouse and keyboard would be far superior for that. Funny thing enough, actually, though, apparently a lot of people swear that the Wii version of this game is like one of the optimal ways to play this game because it has gyro aiming and you can like aim with the Wii remote, and apparently it like feels really good. And I've never played it like that, but I would love to, but I don't have a Wii.
I just got it for Steam.
As did
And also, if you guys are playing on PC, there is fan-created mods that up-res all the textures in the game. And so, when I played on my Xbox, obviously it's up-res to fit like, a 1080p screen and all that. But obviously the textures are still really old. And so everything kind of looked a little muddy. So if you want to go through the hassle of downloading a mod, like this fan-created mod that up-reses all the textures and makes it look really good, I actually watched a playthrough of it like a couple years ago. Looks very good. So if you guys want to do that, you can.
Okay.
And I'm still deciding if I want to just play it on my Xbox again, because since I beat the game, it knows that I beat it, so I can unlock the hardest difficulty, so that I can do a playthrough of the hardest difficulty and also play with like new skins and stuff. So I'm still kind of deciding what I would like to do. But yeah, that's basically. What's that?
What time are we planning to reconvene, or what day, I should say?
Sometime next week, we will we'll talk on our Discord basically and see what day is best. But we'll give you a week. I mean, it's Friday to Friday, so I guess try to have it done by then. The point where we're gonna play up to.
So what's the point we're gonna play up to?
So you guys are gonna be playing up until you guys are gonna not defeat. Sorry, I don't want to spoil that. But you guys are gonna finish chapter 2-3. So
Okay.
the games go through chapters. I believe there's 4 chapters, but there's dashes in between them. There's like chapter 1-1, 1-2. But so every time you finish one, it comes up. There's like a splash screen, and it says the end of chapter blah blah blah. or something like that. And so when you finish chapter 2-3, that's up to the point that we'll be talking.
Okay, and could you give me a ballpark? How long should that take me if I'm elite speedrunning gamer?
It shouldn't take you any longer than I think it shouldn't take you any longer than maybe like 6 hours, maybe even 5.
That's not too bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
I ain't scared. I got this shit.
I ain't scared.
Easy.
But yeah, guys, I'm excited. Especially, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about the very beginning of the game, because that's one of the best parts of the game. So, but yeah, that's everything I have for you guys. Let's
Cool.
see.
Any out of context tips, tricks, pieces of advice, warnings, misdirections, anything you wanna give us before we start?
Be sure to use the quick turn mechanic when playing. So obviously, say you're running away from people, then you want to turn around and shoot them. You need to like turn around and shoot them, basically, obviously. But you can do a quick turn mechanic where
He just pulls a 180, right?
yeah, basically you just flip a 180, and I can't because I played on controller. I think you press like back on the down stick in A, I think, at the same time. You just do a quick turn 180 to turn around real quickly. So you're going to be using that a lot to play when you're playing the game. So just be sure to figure out how to do that, and you do that constantly.
Nice.
But yeah, guys, I'm excited, and we can talk about it next week. I hope you guys have fun with it.
Okay.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. Yeah.
This
do
should be
it.
entertaining.
All right, guys, until next week. See you then.
All right.
Later.
Bye bye.